7. The House of the Afternoon. For the most part, the House of the Afternoon was but a wing built against a mansion wrought by the hand of nature herself, a grotto running into the side of the mountain. From high over the mouth of this grotto sloped a long arbor supported by great blocks of stone rudely chiseled into the likeness of idols, each bearing a carved lizard on its chest, a sergeant's guard of the gods condescendingly doing duty as posts. From the grotto thus vestibuled issued hilariously forth the most considerable stream of the glen, which, seemingly overjoyed to find daylight in Willamilla, sprang into the arbor with a cheery white bound. But its youthful enthusiasm was soon repressed, its waters being caught in a large stone basin scooped out of the natural rock, whence, staid and decorous, they traversed sundry moats, at last meandering away to join floods with the streams trained to do service at the other end of the vale. Truant streams, the livelong day wending their loitering path to the subterraneous outlet, flowing into which they disappeared, but no wonder they loitered, passing such ravishing landscapes. Thus with life, man bounds out of night, runs and babbles in the sun, then returns to his darkness again, though, peradventure, once more to emerge. But the grotto was not a mere outlet to the stream. Flowing through a dark flume in the rock on both sides, it left a dry, elevated shelf, to which you ascend from the arbor by 3 artificially wrought steps, sideways disposed, to avoid the spray of the rejoicing cataract. Mounting these and pursuing the edge of the flume, the grotto gradually expands and heightens, your way lighted by rays in the inner distance. At last you come to a lofty subterraneous dome, lit from above by a cleft in the mountain, while full before you, in the opposite wall, from a low black arch midway up, and inaccessible, the stream, with a hollow ring and a dash, falls in a long snowy column into a bottomless pool, whence, after many an eddy and whirl, it entered the flume and away with a rush. Half hidden from view by an overhanging brow of the rock, the white fall looked like the sheeted ghost of the grotto. Yet gallantly bedecked was the cave, as any old armorial hall, hung round with banners and arras. Streaming from the cleft, vines swung in the air, or crawled along the rocks, whenever a tendril could be fixed. High up, their leaves were green, but lower down, they were shriveled, and dyed of many colors, and tattered and torn with much rustling, as old banners again, sore ravelled with much triumphing. In the middle of this hall in the hill was incarcerated the stone image of one Demi, the tutelar deity of Wilhelmina. All green and oozy, like a stone under water, poor Demi looked as if sore harassed with sciatics and lumbagos. But he was cheered from aloft by the promise of receiving a garland all blooming on his crown. The dryads sporting in the woodlands above, forever peeping down the cleft, and essaying to drop him a coronal. Now, the still panting glen of Willamilla, nested so close by the mountains, and a goodly green mark for the archer in the sun, would have been almost untenable were it not for the grotto. Hereby it breathed the blessed breezes of Omi, a mountain promontory buttressed the island to the east, receiving the cool stream of the upland trades, much pleasanter than the currents beneath. At all times, even in the brooding noonday sun, a gush of cool air came hand in hand with the cool waters that burst with a shout into the palace of Donjalolo. And as, after first refreshing the king, as in loyalty bound, the stream flowed at large through the glen, and bathed its verdure, so the blessed breezes of Omi not only made pleasant the house of the afternoon, but finding ample outlet in its wide open front, blew forth upon the bosom of all Willamilla. "Come, let us take the air of Omi," was a very common saying in the glen, and the speaker would hie with his comrade toward the grotto, and flinging himself on the turf, pass his hand through his locks, and recline, making a joy and a business of breathing, for truly the breezes of Omi were as air wine to the lungs. Yet was not this breeze over cool, though at times the zephyrs grew boisterous, especially at the season of high sea, when the strong trades draw down the cleft in the mountain, rushed forth from the grotto with wonderful force. Crossing it then, you had much ado to keep your robe on your back. Thus much for the house of the afternoon, whither, after spending the shady morning under the eastern cliffs of the glen, daily, at a certain hour, Donjalolo in his palanquin was borne, there finding new shades, and there tarrying till evening, when again he was transported whence he came, thereby anticipating the revolution of the sun. Thus dodging day's luminary through life, the prince hied to and fro in his dominions, on his smooth, spotless brow, Sol's rays never shining. Chapter 77